Simple answer, we are a club in crisis. And we all know the reason why. We have an inept and frankly a useless ownership who know little about this game of football. Everyone knows that we need new ownership of this football club. And that is my aim. Those are my objectives. I'm making good progress. I continue to talk to the people. I've got some good pledges with good finance. We are now working on the offer document. Remember, John, it's a hostile bid. That simply means the club isn't officially for sale. But my intention is to present these owners with a legitimate and potent and proper commercial offer to say, you've run out of road, it's time to go.
There you see a big breaking and news trending story here. Michael Knighton, former director of Manchester United, looking to create a hostile bid. A hostile bid are his words for Manchester United to take over from the disastrous ownership, the inept ownership of the Glazers. Now, whether this is going to be successful or not, we want to get your opinions on. But it's about time some people stood up, some people that care about Manchester United and do their absolute best to try and get Manchester United new ownerships to get the Glazers out. The protests, I get them. People like me that have been boycotting and pulling money away helps. The protests help. But what this needs is a consortium of true Man United fans, of true lovers of the football club, backed by big business people, big money, of course, needed to get the Glazers out, to start pushing hard to tempt the Glazers away. Not just a willy-nilly bid, not just a vanity project from a billionaire around the world, but a group of people, a consortium ready to try and take Manchester United back.
Because your time is up. And frankly, the fans worldwide have had enough of this regime. The exciting feeling of a new season, which we all have, and that balloon of excitement is there, but it was quickly burst when we saw the performance against Brighton.
And that is key there. That is key there. When you hear that moment, when you hear that point there from him, you can't get away from it. The season, the bubble burst straight away. The feeling of everything that's gone wrong at the football club came in straight away. Now, the full link for the interview is done by the brilliant, it's on the YouTube channel, ManUtdTheReligion. Go and check out the link in the description below. Brilliant channel, brilliant interviews on there as well. So go and check them out. Go and subscribe to them. Go and support them. You can see today, by the way, we're sponsored by One Football, the very best place to get all your football news from in one place. You can scan that QR code or click on the link in the description below to download their app now. A fantastic platform. The very best place, by the way, to keep up to date with all news across all outlets, all journalists, all content creators. It's basically a one-stop shop, One Football. Go and check it out. But on the Glazers, what is there to be said here? What is there to be said other than this needs to happen? And this is serious. Look, you will get some Man United fans say, I don't trust Michael Knighton. Who are this consortium that are coming in? Quite frankly, we're not going to end up with worse owners than the Glazers, irrespective of what happens, even like worst case scenario. But on a real level, he's put together, in his words, a consortium of people that can generate enough money to buy the football club. I've heard a few people say, yeah, but he's only worth £10 million himself. Of course, but that's what the consortium is about. Him getting trust in and buying in from the wealthy investors that would enable Man United to be purchased back. By the sounds of it, they would be purchasing with no debt. They'd be looking to remove the debt from Manchester United. And even more importantly than removing the debt, and I mean this even more importantly, is running the football club in the absolute right way, spending the club's money on the right things, spending the club's money on the right players, creating a culture of success, standards that are very high, not allowing player power to overtake a dressing room every 18 months, giving more back to the fans. These things are key. These things are crucial. And these elements are massively needed at Manchester United Football Club, because for far too long, we have been dragged over the coals. For far too long, we have been lied to. We have been cheated. We have been strung along. And look, I may be a Man United fan who has financially stepped away from the club. I won't give another penny to Man United until I see them being run better. I won't give any more of my time to Man United. I'd rather spend, and this is, just my personal choice, I'd rather spend time with my children. I'd rather spend time with my friends. I'd rather spend time with my family. I'd rather spend time doing anything than giving my actual time to the football club. And what I mean by that is, yeah, look, I do this for a living now. I cover the top six as a job, as you all know. But I'd be willing to walk away from Man United as a fan. And in fact, I have walked away as a fan. Now, people will say that you're blind for doing that. You're not a true fan. You're a glory hunter. This has nothing to do with winning trophies. Absolutely nothing. The reason we're not winning trophies is because of how poorly we're run. But my anger isn't because we're not winning the Premier League anymore, or we're not winning the Champions Leagues anymore, or we're not even competitive, really. My anger is more at how the club's been run, the money that has been hemorrhaged, the lack of standards at the club, and the operations. If those things were done right, we'd actually be winning those things. And I'm more about protecting the legacy of this great football club and the people that originally built it. The working class roots of football should not be ignored. It is the culture and the fabric, not just of Manchester, but of the majority of villages, towns, and cities across the United Kingdom and throughout the world. You look into who builds these football clubs in Spain, Italy, France. You go to South America. You go across the African continent. You go across Asia. In multiple countries around the world, it's the same situation. Clubs built by the people for the people. That's where my biggest amount of anger comes in when it comes to the Glazers. Here's more from Michael Knighton.
Preferably, we want regime change. So, yes, the protests will continue. That is inevitable until they bring about what everyone wants, which is change.
So the final message from you then, I guess, for the fans who are looking forward to the Manchester United versus Liverpool game, our next home match, you expect them to be back protesting?
Of course, they will protest, and quite rightly. It's the only way they can vent their frustration and disappointment and hope that the current ownership sit up and finally listen and ultimately decide to sell their shareholding. My consortium is ready and waiting. The funds are pledged. The offer document is being drawn up and it will be presented, John. We're still waiting for the great Sir Jim Ratcliffe to come forward because he solves all our problems, makes my job redundant. But until Jim comes, my consortium will be placing their bid very shortly. That I guarantee.
Their bid coming, he guarantees it. Now, they're very, very big words. He mentions Jim Ratcliffe there, who, of course, is a very, very wealthy man. I think he's the richest Brit in the world. Him coming in would change things dramatically. As he says there, his position would almost become redundant in terms of leading this consultancy. But their bid is coming soon. Will it have an impact? We don't know. And that's the honest to God answer. Nobody knows right now whether or not it's going to have the desired impact, the desired outcome. Of course, Man United fans will want it to. We still need to be very careful of these new owners. We need to make sure that they're in this for the right reasons, as it were. And all of this is very, very important indeed. But it's certainly something that should make you feel a bit more positive. Maybe there's a little bit of light, a minuscule bit of light at the end of the tunnel. And this is something that Man United fans should be getting behind. This is something that Manchester United fans should be, for me, working very, very hard to make sure it happens. And I genuinely mean that. We should be working very, very hard to make sure that this happens. You can read more about this article here on One Football. As I say, links in the description below. This article taken from my friends over at Give Me Sport. You can go through it in more detail to read through it. Of course, the link for the video is in the description as well. Go below it. There's a bit of information in here about who Michael Knighton is, where he's from, what he's done in the past, and the details about the takeover bid. Go and check it out right about now. All links are in our description below. But for me as a Manchester United fan, this is positive news. For me as a Man United fan, it gives me hope. This is something I want to back. This is something I'm going to get behind because it's tangible. I think the protests, I think some people taking their money away, some people doing kind of social media blackouts, whatever it may be. All these things will help in small amounts. But the one thing that needs to happen at United is for the Glazers to go. For the first time in a long time, I'm seeing the mainstream media outlets talk about the Glazers going. The pundits are talking about it. They're about 15 years plus too late, nearly 20 years too late. During the post-Fergie era, they're 9 years too late. People like myself, I know that Nordin, I know that Stephen Howson, they're the three that really stand out to mind, have been pushing the Glazers as the biggest problem at this club. Whenever a manager in, manager out debates happen, a player in, player out debate has happened, it's been the owners of the football club. It's been the regime at the football club that have been seen as the big problem, as the issue. And for me, they will remain as that big issue over the course of time. But I do want your thoughts and I do want your feelings on this right now. How big, important, what could this do for Manchester United Football Club rivals? I'm also seeing a lot of comments from rivals saying they would also like to see Manchester United be sold. They would like to see new owners come in. And that's because, again, a lot of fans of football clubs, all banter aside, they care about the origins of football. They care about the traditions of football. They care about the culture of football in the UK, Europe, and worldwide. And that is supporting the people. It's a working class sport. And we should not be allowing that to be taken away from us in any way, any shape, or any form. Make sure you smash that like button before you leave. Go check out the original video as well. All details in the description and pinned comment below. Man United's hostile bid incoming. What's going to happen?